This is a $100 budget Wulfgar of Icewind Dale deck type. Wulfgar of Icewind Dale is 3 red-green for a 4/4 with melee. If a creature you control attacking would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Essentially, the idea of the deck is to run tons of cards with attack triggers, and those attack triggers will be duplicated. Take, for example, a Tally, Primal Storm. 4 red for a 6/6. Whenever a Tally, Primal Storm attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. Instead of that happening once, like usual, that will happen twice. This applies to the over 27 attack trigger cards we have, and it really pays off. We can connect our ramp with attack triggers with cards such as Grand Warlord Radha, Conduit of Storms, and Captain Lannery Storm, and we can even draw from attacking with things like Pako, Arcane Retriever, Tectonic Giant, and Tome of Legends. Using our creatures to attack is the main idea of this deck, and one of the best utilities we can get from attacking is getting more creatures or more damage. Things like Warchief Giant, Lightning Runner, or Handwire Garrison just help us increase the damage output, and can get us a lot of value in the long run. Our ramp is very versatile, considering that our commander is 5 CMC. We have a few mana rocks, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and Gruul Signet, a few cards which will attack and get us mana, such as Radha, Heir to Keld, Grand Warlord Radha, and Sword of the Animist, and we have a few land ramp or other ramp cards. This way we can get a lot of value and ramp very quickly. We have 27 cards which fit into the attack triggers category, and there's an incredible amount of overlap with our other categories. Generally, these focus on either outputting damage, drawing us cards, or ramping us. There are 11 cards in our draw category, which includes attack triggers such as Pako, Arcane Retriever, Tectonic Giant, Howling Golem, Tome of Legends, and more. A few instants and sorceries such as Harmonize, Return of the Wild Speaker, and Escape to the Wild. Haste is incredibly helpful, especially in this deck, since it allows our creatures to attack and get triggers immediately. So I have 5 cards in the Haste category. This includes Crashing Drawbridge, Fire of Yavimaya, and Ogre Battle Driver to just give everything haste. Ogre Battle Driver will also pump creatures to get a bit of extra damage output, and Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves to give individual things haste. Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves are also excellent for giving protection. There are 7 pieces of removal, most of which are single target. There's also a Decimate and a Blasphemous Act. There's an other category. Dolmen Gate is only 2 mana for an artifact, and it prevents combat damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures I control. Gratuitous Violence will double my damage output, and Relentless Assault and Breath of Fury will give us extra combats. Eternal Witness will help recur things, and Impact Tremors will deal some damage. This is an extremely aggressive deck and does a lot of attacking. You will be eliminating your opponents very quickly, and it's best to latch onto one person and kill them. There are 38 lands in this deck, which is fairly high, but remember we have a 5 CMC commander. The lands are pretty typical. There's 15 mountains and 13 forests, some dual lands such as Temple of Abandon, Sheltered Thicket, Rugged Highlands, Game Trail, and Cinderglade, a couple fetch lands, and a couple other useful cards. I would recommend this deck for mid-power and will work especially well in the beginning of the game. This is great because it can help speed up games throughout your group, and it's best if you want something aggressive. If you do build a list, post a link to it in the comments, as I'm sure that I and other people watching the video would love to see it. Watch this video next for a Lind Cheerful Tormentor $100 budget deck tap.